one, whoever may be around. We're still setting this thing up. You know how we do. It never is perfect right away. We're also checking to see if there's going to be a good connection the whole time, because we're outside in the truck again like we did earlier this week. So hopefully everything is successful. Just so you know, there may be a little bit of shaking, because every time I move in the seat, the screen wants to move. So bear with me on that one. We're turning everything down. We're setting everything up. Hello, first people. How are you? We are now on. It looks like everything's working. Andrew, what's up? Alexei, how you doing? Blessings to you as well. Riley, how you doing? Rick, Oregon, in the house. Nice. Mike, what's up? High voltage. It's going well, buddy. It's going well. I just made a Timmy's here. Good stuff. I just made a giant urn of coffee, and we're going to drink this thing, and we're going to talk. This is my last night with this truck, so we'll have a good time with it. Drove it around a lot today. No camera, just trying to get a feel for the old girl, as they say. It's delicious. Hazelnut coffee mate in there. No sugar, just the hazelnut, just the grams of sugar that comes from that. Jeremy, what's going on? Dance Master, good to see you, buddy. Long time. Andrew says, great idea being in the truck. What a great idea. So I was able to pull, I don't know how good what you can see, because it looks like I'm in a cloud for what it looks like out my window. My house is right here. I pulled the router all the way up to the window, so this is possible. So if the connection starts to suck, let me know. We're trying this out. If this works, I could do this with the Army Green all the time. I just got to back it up into this spot, and we could do it. But it gets dark probably within 45 minutes, so I figured, what the heck, right? Who cares? Eric, how you doing, buddy? I'm doing well. Living the Dream says, burn out. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Not cool. Alexei says, hello from Colorado, 17 degrees. What is it here? Low 30s here right now. We're expecting a bunch of rain tonight. I'm still going to golf in the morning because that's just the way it is. Paul says, Mark, how we doing today? We're doing all right. I hope you're doing good too. Jason, what's going on, buddy? Dance Master says, how have I been? Been well. Just hanging out. Jason says, getting ready for the snow. I was supposed to have a little wintry mix today, but it did not arrive, which is always a good thing, because I'm over snow, man. Let's just move through. Spring. It's been 2 days ago. No, yesterday it was 72 degrees here. 72 degrees in New Jersey. I was in a short sleeve polo on the golf course. Today, last night, it was down in the teens and everything. No bueno. 6-7 says, super glad for this live stream. Been a crappy week, so this is nice. Let's have a good time with it, you know? Got a nice big thing of coffee. The talking will start getting faster and faster. I took a nap today. I ain't gonna lie to you. I went for a run, came home. It was nap time, because why not? Antonio says, hello, TD and everyone else. Hello from over the road in Utah. A big thank you to our truckers out there, for sure. Without them, we don't get the goods we need. Peter says he's back from the captain's seat. What are we chatting about today? Whatever you want. We could talk about some of the things I've learned in this truck over this week. I'm going to do probably tomorrow, maybe the next day. I'm not sure, depending on timing and scheduling. I'm going to do a good pros and cons video of basically how I feel about this truck at the end of my week with it. The good news is I'm going to be getting, I think, more 2022 Tundras going forward as far as reviewable trucks, because a week isn't enough for me to give everybody, you know, my true thoughts. I could give you thoughts after a week, but there's a lot to digest with this truck, in my opinion. Tomeo says, yeah, got a $50,000 offer for my 2019 1794 4x4 yesterday, but definitely not selling. Andrew says, glad I caught one. In Vermont at work, waiting for the nor'easter tomorrow. So yeah, I'm getting rain from that nor'easter just in the morning. You guys are getting pounded with snow, it sounds like. Cam Neely himself is here. I'm well. How are you? How's Boston? How's Massachusetts? You're the finest law enforcement establishment in Massachusetts. That was not a good Massachusetts. That was from Departed, though. Antonio says, likes and viewers not matching. Get the like button, people. Oh, I like that. Antonio, way to go, buddy. Going to be honest with you, TD, the 2022 looks good, and you review was very helpful, but still not feeling the love for the 2022 over the previous gen. I'm in, well, first let me address that real quick. I'm going to be the one guy to say this. In being able to drive a 2020 every day, and being able to own a bunch and review a bunch in my time, it is so hard to compare the last generation and this generation because they are so bloody different. They're not the same at all. I mean, there's little Tundra things here and there, but as far as drivability and feel and just power delivery and handling, and the whole platform is different. It's very hard to compare. I know it says Tundra on the outside, but It's a very different truck. So there's going to be people who like it, and there's going to be people who dislike it. It's kind of a to each their own kind of thing. It's not really a, you know, this is the answer. It's never going to be. You're going to have people who like it, people who dislike it. As you've seen online, there's a lot of people who don't like it. The people who buy it or sit behind the wheel of it, they can tell you some good things about it, like me. I could tell you, in the beginning when I started driving it, I think my mindset was I was expecting it to be basically a 2020 on steroids, and that's not what we got. We got something completely new, completely different, and after a week, there are things I appreciate about the truck, but very hard to compare to last generation. I'm going to be honest with you. Tim asks, what trim am I in? Exactly what Jill was in. A Supersonic Red 17, or I almost said 1794, a Supersonic Red Limited TRD Off-Road 5.5 foot bed crew max. I've been trying to catch up with your vids. I was on vacation. It looked like a good vacation. I hope you had a great time. I saw sun. I saw a beach. That's a good time right there, buddy. Actually, in my first video, I asked for your help when I was doing my first impression drive about what we have now learned is fed-in sound. I took the first turn that I always take up here and kind of gunned it, and it sounded like the exhaust was awesome, but come to find out that comes with the JBL system. That's what people were saying, that sound is fed in, but I really do enjoy that fake exhaust note that comes with this truck. Sean says, good evening, Mark. Has this truck sent you in a particular direction for your purchase? It really, I wish I could say it did, but I'm going to hold off on that because I purposely, for the viewers like you, have not driven my 2020 other than moving it in and out of the driveway to swap these cars out with my wife's car when she has to go to work and all that. I'm not going to drive that 2020 until this 2022 is gone. I'm going to hop back in that 2020 and give you an impression on how I feel about that truck after a straight week of driving it, and then I'll be able to tell you what direction I want to go. But right now, I'm not lost. Like, look, if I came outside and Mike Swears was standing here with keys to a Lunar Rock TRD Pro, I'm not going to be mad. But I still love that 2020, man. Andrew says, Mark, what a great sweatshirt. Tell the people where you got it. So I don't know how good you could see it or how good the screen is always bigger for you than me. Toyota Racing. It's made by Champion. There's a logo on me somewhere. This is from Toyota Outfitters. You guys know it's the official apparel of Toyota TRD and Toyota Racing. Use promo code TundraDude, all capitals, one word. Saves you 25% site-wide. Go get them. There you go. Andrew, you're a good man for letting me do that plug. Thank you, sir. Yeah, a little sip of extremely hot coffee. We're back now. Antonio said, if you had to make a decision today, right now, which truck would you pick? If I didn't have a channel, I'd keep my 2020. If I didn't have a channel, I'd keep my 2020. If you're making me pick right now. Hello, McFasto. How are you doing? It's good to see you. Jay Chapman says, how many wastegate failure numbers have you heard? I've heard roughly 120 with roughly 11,000 sold. The only thing I ever heard, and they're real hush-hush and weird with this thing, it's a low number. I've heard it's a low number compared to how many were sold. If, you know, hopefully Toyota's working on a solution. I'm sure they are, because there is a rumbling all over the internet about the wastegate issues out there. I can thankfully say in the week with this limited, I did not have any issues whatsoever as far as engine, everything, road, felt great. The 10-speed transmission is the unsung hero of this truck. It shifted flawlessly. I've driven a few F-150s with the 10-speed, and I think this 10-speed's better than that 10-speed. And Tim, you can jump in there, buddy. I know you owned one, and you get the press vehicles from Ford and everything. This 10-speed, for being a first year for this truck, was immaculate. Immaculate. Like, and that's why I say you can't compare, because to me, in the 2020, in all of the other years of Tundra before this, when you drive the Tundra, it's almost like you're driving a manual, the way that transmission, the 6-speed, shifts. You could feel every bump. If you let up off the gas pedal a little, you can kind of force the transmission to shift. This thing, it just kind of glides, man. It's just a different truck. It's just a different truck. That will be the theme of everything I talk about with this first week with the 2022. Completely different truck. Apples to apples, negatory. I don't feel apples to apples at all. This is something in a different direction. I was saying at one point, like an SUV with a bed. It's like a mix between an SUV with a bed with truck characteristics. Excuse me. Whoa. Dad C Music says, hi, TD34, 2016 limited double cab. Florida. Very, very nice. Florida's a beautiful state there. Disney World, golf courses, alligators, can't go wrong. Finally got my sway bar with your code from Sparks Parts. I love it. It was the missing piece to the puzzle for me. If you don't know about that promo code, go to sparksparts.com. They have all your Toyota and TRD parts for not just your Tundra, all Toyota vehicles and Scions and some Lexus stuff. Use promo code TundraDude34 to save 5%. And my man Dad C letting me get one off there with doing the plugs. Thank you very much, sir. Nick, how you doing? Is having the body panels misaligned on the 2022 Tundra going to hinder your decision to buy one? Because on some of them, the body panels aren't flush. So I've walked around this truck many a times, and the body panels line up just fine. I have seen some of the pictures that you've seen, Nick, you know, where some of the trucks aren't lined up. We got to remember, when we go online, right, and we go to forums, we're going to see the good, the bad, and the ugly. It seems that there is a lot of stress to really look at the ugly stuff people are seeing. So for instance, the old generation, 14 to 21, go look at some of the videos I've made over the 6 years. Every year I would check the bumper alignment in the rear and in the front of the truck to see if it's flush or not. Some trucks, like my 2020, are very close. Some, like my 14, were way off. My 2016 was way off. It's kind of just the nature of the beast with a pickup truck. But I did see some of the things you were talking about, Nick, with bumper alignment and everything. And this one here that we're in, I can only go truck by truck. This one is lined up nice. The few that I filmed over at the local dealerships, which are SR5s, they lined up nice. The rear bumper, to me, is kind of odd the way it's set up. It's not one piece. It's not two piece. It's like 63 pieces. So to check it to see if it's lined up right, it's kind of like a science project. But this one looks good. All the panels and the gaps are even as far. I mean, I'm not sitting there with a fine-tooth comb, but everything looks like it's supposed to. There's nothing way out of line like some of the pictures I've seen. But you guys got to remember, too, I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt. Number one, before anything, before channel guy or Tundra dude or all that, I am a Tundra fan and enthusiast. That is number one. That's why we do the channel. So I'm looking for the good in a lot of this stuff. I'm excited to see a next generation Tundra. It's like being a sports fan. I'm an Islanders fan. They left Nassau Coliseum. I love Nassau Coliseum, but I'm still excited for the new stadium. All right, the UBS Arena down the street. I'm excited for it because I'm an Islander fan. So I love the 14 to 21 Tundras. I love the 07 to 13s and the 2000 up Tundras and the T100s and all that. I love all Tundra. So I'm rooting for the 2022 and the 2023 and beyond. So sure, we're going to find little things wrong here and there, especially in the beginning. Go look at the 07s. The 07s, when they first came out with the true full-size Tundra, they had a bunch of weird little problems here. You know, and people are going to find the issues with the truck. I'm trying to find not just the good, but I'm taking the issues you guys talk about, and I'm trying to dissect each thing and find the gaps and the problems. But at the same time, I'm looking at it from an optimist kind of level, in a way of, let's find the good in this thing. And that's where this week was. When I first got in the truck, I felt like I came downstairs on Christmas morning and I asked for Sega Game Gear, and when I opened the box, it was Tinker Toys. And I was like, Tinker Toys are fun, but they're not Sega Game Gear. Okay, and that's from a, you know, an 80s baby. So Sega Game Gear, if you remember that, thumbs up. And I mean that in a way of, not that the 2022 isn't its own entity that's awesome, just compared to the last generation, it's so different. Things that are the same, yes, but still very different. Hard to compare the two because they're so different. And if you think about it this way, so we went from a Tundra that wasn't very updated for a long time. They did small things here and there. We talk about 2018 with Toyota Safety Sense. TRD Sport Package came along. 2020, you know, the push-button start, N-Tune 3.0. We talk about that all the time. But overall, the platform was the same. When you look at things like Ford and Ram and the Silverado and the GMC, they did up... How often does Ford do... changes, like next generations? They do them all the time. So it's going like this with Ford. Everything changes little by little. So the truck changing, it doesn't change wholesale. So the Tundra hasn't been updated in a long time. So it goes from what we had to something that's way different than what we had, because there hasn't been generations that have changed throughout the years. It's gone from, well, it's pretty much the same platform since 07 to boom, 2022. Here's everything new. Here's all the stuff you guys asked for all these years. We got rid of the V8, 3.5 liter V6 twin turbo and a hybrid option. Some people like that. A lot of people don't. But they didn't do the Ford F-150 way of constantly doing generations. They went from 07 to 13, we refreshed in 2014, and then boom, 2022, complete change. And it's a completely different truck. I implore each of you, call your local dealership. They're going to be getting in 2022 Tundras. See if you can get a test drive in. You must get behind the wheel of the truck before you can really understand the truck. You must sit where I'm sitting right now in this driver's seat and play with the big 14-inch screen and mess around with everything they have in here. Aeronomically correct for sure in the way of leaning. There's things about the truck that are the owners talking. In all of the years I've talked to you guys, there are things you guys always talked about. Guess what? They're in the truck now. Swears and the team listened the best they could with a lot of this stuff. The seats are very comfortable. The whole driver cockpit area is extremely comfortable. It has the features we've asked for. Everybody was always mad that the Tundra never had features. Now it has things like the heated steering wheel. It has things like the heated and cooled seats, memory seats in the Limited, which were only in the Platinum in 1794. This is called a coffee rant. Nick did this. Okay, now we're back at it. I apologize for that. Hope you guys like that. Welcome to the live stream. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. Why not, right? 6-7 says, maybe some in-depth comments on 2022 driver seat versus 2022 driver seat, comfort size, body fit, etc. Can't even find a 2022 out here to sit in myself. For me, the big difference is I've always felt, and I've always felt like this. This isn't because of the 2022 at all. I've always felt like the Tundra seats have been comfortable, but I feel like on the Tundra seat, I sit more on top of the seat, slide around because the truck has quite a bit of sway. These seats are like sports car seats. They have great bolstering. They hold you in place. When you go around turns, you don't move. You don't slide because you're down in the seat, if that makes sense. These are more of a racing-inspired heritage kind of seat. Joseph says, haven't seen a fuel mileage comparison between the 2022 Tundra and your Pro. Also a general driving performance comparison, real-world stuff. Oh, hold on one sec. With and without full payload. Joe, actually, real quick, that reminded me something. When I get off this, I'm going to put up, somebody wanted me to take a picture of the sticker inside the door here that shows all the weight and all that stuff. I'm going to put that picture up later. The good news is, Joe, I am going to be able to get a 2022 Tundra back sooner than later, and then we're going to have more time to do more stuff. I did everything I could this week with the time that I had. It was a quick week, I'll tell you that much. As far as fuel mileage, let me start this puppy. Hold on. I'm gonna make sure I turn the radio down too. See, you can't even really hear it start. Off, gotta turn everything off. And then I'll tell you what my fuel mileage is right now as per what it is this entire week. I just gotta get to the screen and whatnot. Give me one sec. All right, so my fuel mileage right now in the whole week that I've had it is 15.0 right now. 15.0, we'll even go up here, 15.0. The previous best was 15.4, and obviously currently I have no MPG going on because we're sitting here. 339 miles till empty. But there will be a lot more coverage in the 2022. I did, like I said, everything I could with the time that I had, which wasn't as much as I'd like. But I wanted to make sure we did a couple live streams like this with the truck because I wanted you guys to ask live questions. I've been writing down pros and cons of just drive. I did something different this time, and this is kind of weird, but I did it so I could talk to and about the truck more. I went and I actually drove the truck without the camera a lot, all right? And I know that's totally like anti-content creator, but I wanted to get a feel for the truck myself. So when people ask me questions, I can speak for it and speak to it. Because when I'm on camera, I'm trying to tell you guys everything that I feel, one thing after another, after another, after another. When I take the truck out and do 2 hours of drive time and go into twisty roads and on, you know, highways and stuff like that, I want to make sure that I'm able to come back and give you guys my thoughts on that, you know, without rushing. I want to take my time. What do I like? What do I dislike? So in my pro and con video, I was able to sit there and after each trip write down in my notes things I like, things I dislike, stuff like that. So, and Tim says, yep, piped in exhaust note from the JBL. People want to hate on it, but I think it's pretty good for what it is. I've also agree with you on that one. I think for what it is and driving this over time, pretty good. One thing I will tell you, hey, my fuel mileage just went to 14.9 for my week because we're sitting here not moving. We're just idling. I spent a lot of time in sport. I liked sport, but halfway through the week, I ended up going back to, I went back to regular mode, normal mode. And I found the love in that as well. I like sport mode in any vehicle. It changes the shift points of the vehicle. The truck feels more jumpy because it's ready to go, because it's still in a gear it would normally be in. It's still in that lower gear, so it could get to power quicker. But I found what I like in normal mode. It just drives completely different. Antonio says, oh boy, you're gonna love jumping back into your 2020 Pro. Can't wait. David says, how's it going, Mark? How's it going, David? Andrew says, any news on the Trd Pro releases? I haven't heard anything at all. I saw something on some forum, because I'm in a lot of the forums. Someone took a picture of a Trd Pro going to a journalist for a review in a gas station. So if it's coming out to the journalist, I would think we're going to see it sooner than later, or at least be able to attempt to order it. It never seems to search for gears. It does not, from my experience in the week, Tim is an owner. Tim can tell you anything. From my experience in the week, I never had an issue finding a gear. It never felt like the truck was slow in any way. Let me get the defroster going here real quick, because we are fogging up mode. Give me that mode real quick. That's not, oh, there it is. Still my first day with some of these high-end switches now. This is not like the Tundra. Living the Dream says, hold on. We got it. Why? Less fan. There we go. Living the Dream says, a moment. For the Ukrainians fighting for their country and freedom, hoo-ah, fight the good fight. To the Ukrainians out there for sure. Cheers to you. Save your country. Crazy world out there right now, boys and girls. Crazy. This is why you got to thank the vets. You got to thank the military folks of the world. You got to thank the cops. You got to thank the emergency service workers, the firefighters, the EMTs. Every day they're out there trying to make our life better. So a cheers to all of them. We love you. Bigfoot says, I backed off on the Tundra because of the locker only working in 4LL. I mean, your name is Bigfoot, so you should probably get a Ford. Although Bigfoot switched to Chevy, but I think they're back to Ford. Mamet says, you mean 4Runner? You're right. I called it a car, didn't I? I apologize. Jimmy says, hello. By the way, real quick, guys, I don't want to interrupt real quick. We're 22 minutes into this. Sun goes down in like 10 minutes. It might get dark in here. I'm going to keep going, so if it gets annoying, let me know. Antonio says, have you or are you planning to tow your dad's boat? My father is between boats right now. So by the time I get the next 2022 I'm going to review, I'm going to need to set something up to tow. I don't know anybody with anything to tow around here, so I got to figure something out. I might rent a U-Haul, do something like that, just to be able to get some towing on it. My father sold his boat, and he's going to be getting a new boat in a couple months, so hopefully that lines up. How have the Falcon Wild Peaks performs? They're in my target tires once my lift comes in. These don't have that. These have the Bridgestone Duelers, 20-inch. The Falcon Wild Peaks that are available are 18 inches, so I can't give you that yet. Hopefully on the Pro that I hope to get, we'll be able to take care of that. Jason says, that does the 2022 Trd Pro have the same exhaust sound as the old gen? I hope so. I hope so. It's going to be piped in, I would guess. The exhaust looks a little bit different on the Trd Pro. It has two exits right next to each other on the driver's side, so hopefully it looks good. I hope eventually TRD makes an exhaust for the new gen Tundra. I know an exhaust on a V6 doesn't make any sense, but at least like the dual look like it had on the old gen. Jamie says, hi Mark, sold my 2021 TRD to Carvana 61,000. Ooh, waiting on the 2022 TRD. Congratulations. That is a good value for your truck right there. Get a little sip here. Done. Franklin says, if you had to choose which one, same platform, last generation or new generation? That's the tough question. That's the one that I don't know how to answer. It's not I don't want to answer, I just don't know how to answer it. Meaning, they're just so different. I enjoy it. This is what I'm saying. This is why I say to each their own. I'm going to talk about this in my pro and con video. Tim, if you want to chime in on this, go for it, bro. The truck 14 to 21, especially my 2020. I'm just going to say my 2020 to make it easier for me, because I'm going to mess up these numbers. In my 2020, it feels like an old school truck. It has a lot of sway. You throw it around a little bit. The steering, the steering is not as crisp as, say, a modern truck like we're in right now. It feels like an old truck. It feels like something that is of the late 90s. I think that is an aspect that is what people like about the Tundra, the 14 to 21 Tundra. It still feels like a classic, all over the road V8 versus something like this. This truck is extremely refined. This truck is extremely modern. This truck, the cab and the suspension and the frame all feel like they move as one. They feel like they work together to get the truck down the road. The experience of the ride is completely different. Everything is just super in sync. And that is the different part. When it comes to the 2020, the ride is not as good as the 2022, but I think the ride of the 2020 has more character. It's something that you get used to and you learn to love it, which is when I first got in the 2022, I felt so weird because it didn't have any of the Tundra characteristics that have always been there on the Tundra. It didn't have that body roll. It didn't have the peppy 5.7 V8 under it. It had something that when I put my foot on it, it kind of had to get up and go, but when it went, it was gone. It was quiet. Everything's very quiet in this truck. That truck's very loud. And I'm not just talking exhaust, I'm just talking in general. Very, very, very loud. Very loud. It's just a different experience. So again, very hard to select. I don't have a TRD Pro 2022 to judge, but I will tell you this, the 2020 I have has the Hvac suspension, and that suspension is amazing. That suspension gets that truck down the road nice. It's not very bouncy. You can hear the truck bouncing around, but the suspension takes care of all the work. This truck has the regular Bilsteins from a TRD off-road package. It has 20-inch wheel and tire setup on it, all terrain. And this suspension is very close to that suspension, and that's saying a lot because this one's a lot cheaper. So keep that in mind, and I said that last video. Sip of coffee, we continue on. I'm so behind and I apologize. I just want to give you guys real answers, you know. I don't want to just one-word answer it and move on. So Franklin, I'm really sorry for being so general with that, but that's why I'm saying each of you guys got to get out there and drive this truck. Very different from the last generation. Very, very hard to compare. Dance Master says, how are the roads out where you are, Tundra Dude? I have good, bad, and ugly. I have nice roads. My road here was paved a couple years ago, no problem. The main road up the street, most of it's nice. The roads I come home after running are terrible, so I aim for the crappy roads when I have press vehicles like this, just to kind of get a vibe of the suspension. Does the body shake weird or anything like that? Kabini Gaming says, still not in the league of the F-150. Heck, it barely matches the 2015 in capability. You know, I have a simple answer for you then, buddy. And you buy the F-150. I think this truck is totally caught up as far as where it needs to be in the truck market. They were throwing out words like game changer and stuff like that, and I'm still waiting on the hybrid to see what the game changer aspect is. I feel like this brought itself up into the market more to kind of even out with everybody else. And of course, the Ford F-150 does have a lot more capability. It has a lot more ooh and ah to it as far as, you know, things like, you know, you can run the generator in the bed. Like, that whole setup is awesome. But this at least put itself in the running. It can't be called a dinosaur anymore, which I guess Toyota didn't like to be called a dinosaur. You know what I like about dinosaurs? Dinosaurs kick butt, man. Unfortunately, that meteor came out of nowhere and took them, but I never liked being called, or never hated being called a dinosaur. Antonio said, you actually look as if you are a bit crammed in the 2022. It might be the camera angle, but that's just my perspective. No, not crammed at all. Must be the camera angle. I'm sitting pretty. And to be honest with you, I had a couple phone calls I had to take. I came out here to take them because this seat is so comfortable. This cockpit is so good. This area, you're blocked off because the center console here completely separates you from passenger. And the door, you know, you have as much room as you want here. I'm sorry for the shaking. No, I have no problem whatsoever with space. I am not uncomfortable at all. And I hope you can see this right here. There's a place for you to lean your arm now. Stupid little things, right? Oh, I got lost here. Hold on one sec. Hold on one sec. We got to find where we were. Oh, man, I'm way behind on comments. Kabini says, 2021 3.5 liter turbo V6 four-wheel drive, 20 MPG combined, 1823 highway to compare your MPGs. Yeah, I mean, don't forget, you got to remember this. If we're going to be real with the MPGs, you're giving sticker MPGs. The sticker of this is a lot higher than what we're getting. It's a brand new truck. This stuff has to break in, and then you start getting the MPGs up a little bit, so we will see. What's up, my guy? Long time no see. In my opinion, 20 over 2022. Bay Mio, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, and that's what a lot of people say. Peter says, are you going to drive the next pressed Tundra like an old man? See if you could get that MPG up in the low 20s. I hope the next Tundra press vehicle I get has more miles on it. This is fairly brand new. Hopefully a few journalists get it before me, and then I could take it and kind of hope it works itself out a little bit to get those MPGs. This thing is, you know, all the belts are tight, everything's brand new. But yeah, I'm gonna do the best I can. I'll do a super fuel mileage ride if you like. This is just an excuse for corporations to raise everything. Matt says, what's up, man? Sorry I'm late. Still loving my 03 4.7, another great engine. Hoping to get an MBA degree so I can get a 2021 Limited Crew Max a little sooner. There you go. There you go. Go get him, kid. Joseph says, surprised that the 2022 mileage is 15. I have a 14.7 MPG average for my 2020 SR5 TRD off-road double cab. Keep in mind, let's let everything work itself out and get broken in, and then hopefully the MPG comes up a little bit. I'm trying not to talk about that, Ani. Tim says, locker only works in 4 low. Let me double check that. And then he does. He says, interesting. Yep, locker only works in 4 low. Makes sense, though, in my opinion. Tomato says, that's right. Ukraine better fight for what they have. Semper Fi to all the homeland defenders. Yes, sir. Rick says, I have a 9,000-pound boat. I'm going to see how it tows. Let me know, because that's a heavy boat. Can't wait to hear it. Excuse me. Peter says, you hear about the power steering recall on 17 to 21. I read it quick, but if I read it correctly, it only pertains to people that had power steering work done before or after August 15th, something like that. Feel free to chime in exactly what the recall says, because I don't want to give bad information. Buckman says, just got in. Thanks for your vids. Any availability info on the TRD Pro? Nothing yet, and I think when it comes out, it's going to be very hard to get. I suggest you start talking to a dealer now, if you haven't already. Is it getting too dark on the screen? Everything looks, I mean, it's dark here. The screen is trying to give off some light, so hopefully you can still see me good. How much will a used 2020 Pro go for in 5 years, you think? Well, Pros always hold their value because, well, they're TRD Pros, so hopefully it goes for a good amount. My total MPG average has gone down to 14.6 because the truck is still on. So let's say this. Let's say you buy it for MSRP. So what's MSRP on a Pro? 68 grand, we'll say. I think in 5 years, it's very hard to tell because of the market, but hopefully you're still up in the high 50s. That would be nice, right? Nando says, your dad seems really impressed with the new 2022 Tundra. Do you think he might trade the Tacoma for the new generation Tundra? I think the only way he would go back to Tundra is if he had a big, heavy boat to tow. He got rid of it because he didn't need, the MPG wasn't very good on his 2018 Limited, and he didn't need it because the boat he had, let me shut this down for a minute. The boat he had, he got rid of and got a smaller boat, so he got a Tacoma, and he loves that Tacoma a lot. Dave says, just got a 2022 Tacoma, plan on trading it in for a Tundra Pro when released later this year. Other than fitting it in my garage, what should I have a heads up on? Well, hopefully by then we're not having wastegate issues and turbo issues like we're hearing now. That's a hybrid situation, so hopefully there's nothing that comes out bad and negative when the hybrid comes out. Hopefully everything just works. But other than that, you just got to look for a great price. That's going to be the thing to get that TRD Pro. I feel like it's going to be markup city on that thing, kind of like it was for TRD Pro through the last couple of years. So it's just going to be doing the research and finding that good price. I've heard some crazy things, and you know, this is why you got to do your research. I was looking at a used Tundra a couple months ago, and I was reading about it, and I was really interested in it or whatever, and the guy in the listing down below says he'll only sell it to somebody out of the region if they have a trade-in. So they wanted to keep replenishing their local market because it's so hard to get vehicles right now. So you might want to contact, I always say, you know, if you're not happy with pricing, check out of state. But before you go crazy with trying to order everything or, you know, all that stuff, make the phone call and make sure it's going to be okay to buy. I've never heard that before this. I've never heard any dealer say, well, no, you can't buy it unless you're in our area. But I've heard that a few times now. So do your due diligence. Matt says, do you think the Lunar Rock Pro with red or black interior? I would hope black. Lunar with black would look good. Black with the red and white with the red makes sense, but Lunar with red would be way, way, way too much for me. Copy that says, The Toyota Drive Center will be at the Cleveland Auto Show if anybody's interested in test driving a new Tundra. They will have one there to drive without a salesman. Copy that, says that. So I'm copying that. That's a good one. So you'll be able, if you want to test drive the Tundra, it will be there at, once again, Cleveland Auto Show. Keep that in mind. Martin says, hey, Mark, thanks for all the videos. The more I see of the 2022, the more I like it. I'm keeping my 07 and ordering a 2022 Platinum in black 4x4. All Tundras over any other half tons. I feel Leon. F-150, but it's an F-150. A Ford, he says. Martin's laughing. Oh, good. We're caught up to comments here. Andrew says, how are the Falcon Wild Peaks? I think I already answered that. These have the Bridgestone Duelers. Martin says, haha, F-150. Guess you better love your device center. Shane says, need some help, Mark. My 2022 Limited CrewMax TRD just arrived at the dealership. I'm headed to the dealership on Saturday and need to decide if I'm going to trade my 2021 Lunar Rock Pro for it. What do I do? Well, I don't know for your truck, but if you're going straight financing with not a lot of down payment, your payment's going to be high. So if you trade in your Lunar Rock Pro, you'll be able to, I don't know how much you owe on that either, but that'll be a nice down payment. So, I don't know, it'll be hard to part with. Lunar Rock Pro is amazing. Rap Fan says, how did you establish yourself as an auto journalist to be able to get the test vehicle? Not a journalist, just a content creator. I just am a fan of the Tundra, started making videos of the Tundra, and kind of went from there. And, yeah, that's how we did it. And then Toyota was able to reach out and offer vehicles to test like this, to help not just me, but them, because I want to show you guys the new Tundra. And that's what I'm saying. This is all for the fun. This is all for the love of the game. I'm just one of you guys, just a Tundra lover. Mr. Tundra lover. Okay. Where am I? Ford Ranger Raptor opinion. What do you think? Competition to TRD Tacoma. Okay, so I like the Raptor Ranger idea. It's been in somewhere in Europe. They've had it for a while. I think Thailand. Am I wrong on Thailand? I might be. Anyway, so it was somewhere in Europe first. I think it's an awesome idea to be a competitor for the TRD Pro Tacoma, but the Tacoma seems to always hold its ground in the half-ton, or excuse me, the mid-size market. So I don't know. Everyone thought that the Ranger was going to come in and take over the Tacoma, and it just doesn't seem like that's going to happen. The Tacoma has the love of the people. Hopefully the Tundra one day can be there. But I dig it. I like the idea. I like the Bronco Raptor look and all that too. I like what Ford does, man. Ford is not afraid to try things. Dodge and Ram are really not afraid to try things, though. LTZ says, owned a 2022 SR5 since mid-December. It's way better in every aspect than my 2020 SR5. Be a fool not to switch, he says. There you go. And there are folks that think that way, and there are folks that don't like the new generation Tundra, but what I always say, like it or dislike it, test drive it. See if you like it. Rig says, I picked up my 2022 1794 TRD 2 weeks ago, coming from a 15 GMC Sierra SLT. Happy with my decision. It drives much better and feels much tighter, 100%. MPG has been 15 to 17 in the first 200 miles versus the 11 to 13. There you go. Jordan says, have you had any issues with steering wheel being off-center? Negative on that one, sir. My steering wheel is slightly left when truck is tracking straight. Not sure if it's associated with the LTA system. Get that thing looked at, man. Brand new truck. Why have any issues with it? Make sure it's not some kind of a balance issue with your tires and all that. FYI, I'm 6'4", 325, and I have plenty of room, says Rick. So there you go. Franklin says, I understood your answer. I have a Tacoma and want to trade it in for a Tundra. Rock and roll. I'm looking forward to hearing about your first ride back in the 20. I missed my 2021 Platinum while I'm away working. Yeah, and I can't wait to drive mine as well. And there's been times I've wanted to drive it, but you know what? I'm not gonna. I'm gonna wait. I want to get that feeling. And then I will be able to tell you what direction I'll want to go. If I get back in it and get all sloppy in love with it, I'll know right away that's where I want to be. If I get in it and I start saying there's things I miss about this, I'll know this is the direction I want to go. BC says Nissan Titan Pro 4X, Nissan Titan Pro 4X is a much better choice. It's dependable and has a V8 and tow hooks. Everyone laughs about the tow hooks. It's a shame that the Titan's going away. But you know what? For all the Titan fans out there, I've heard a lot of people say the Titan's a better truck, but no one went and bought the truck, and that's why Nissan's getting rid of the Titan. So, better late than never, but never late is better. Jerome, how you doing, buddy? Hi, Mark from Montreal. It's been a while since I was able to join a live stream. Do you know when the first hybrid will come out of the assembly line? I would think March. It's got to be March. Sometime in March. I don't have an answer, but Toyota will put something up when the first one rolls down the line. Jules says, what do you hate most about the new Tundra? I like that question. There will be a pro and con video, but if I had to pick one thing I hate about it, and this is a weird thing and this is a me thing, it's not loud enough. Is that weird? It's not noisy enough. It's so quiet and refined that it's so hard to get used to. When I start up the TRD Pro, it will annoy my neighbors in the middle of the night. You guys know I work overnight. It's loud. The engine's loud up front. The fan, everything up front with the engine. The exhaust is super loud. This thing is like, and then you don't even know it's on unless you're standing next to it. That's what I'm saying, and that's why I feel like almost off-center when I'm sitting here and I'm driving the truck, because I'm trying to review it as a Tundra, but it's so different than any other Tundra. So that's my answer for now. The engine took a little while to get used to, the driving aspect of it, but once I was behind the wheel enough, I started to find how I like to drive the truck, if that makes sense. I started to understand what the truck needed to get down the road the way I wanted it to. Kind of like a race car driver. You get out there, you make laps before the race. That's what practice is for. Take a little wedge out here, you know, change some air pressure there, and you get the car where you want it to be. Same thing with this truck. Great question. Grey Ghost Tundra says, I bought a 2021 SR5 and I'm in love. Started a channel for it. Any advice on how to build an audience? Just keep on keeping on. Best thing I could tell for any upcoming YouTuber is focus on your content. Don't worry about the subscribers and the viewers. They will come. Just make videos that are true. Make videos that you're honest with, that you'll stand behind, you know. And everybody starts out. It's a very tough thing. So many people have channels now. But shout your channel out here, buddy. I'm wide open to help a Tundra guy. Focus on your content, 100%. Kubini says, I had a 2017 SR5 5.7. We sold it with 460,000 miles on it. We got $8,000 for it. The only thing she had was an emission pumps in the back of the motor, had to be bypassed. Okay, there you go. BC says the V6. Dougie Do, before I read his comment, gonna take a sip. Is it getting too dark on screen? And how's the sound? I have the mic on, but I forgot to ask. And the reason I ask is sometimes this mic wants to work, and sometimes it doesn't. Dougie Do says the turning radius is less than the previous gen, 100%. Actually, I mean the turning radius is larger, not as good as the previous gen. Yes, I made a comment last time I did a live stream. I park in the same spot when I run every day. My 2020 can make that turn when I'm leaving, no problem. This one I had to do like a K-turn, and then another spot over on the island where I spin around all the time, same issue. So yes, it is a larger turning radius. B. Higgs says, to all the Tundra pros, hold your pros and reorder a TRD Pro next season, because the current 2022 trucks are test dummies for the 22-23 TRD Pro Tundra. It will be much more refined. There you go. Jordan says, thanks for doing all these videos, very helpful. Always happy to help, my friend. Franklin says, what's the biggest difference do you feel between the 2020 and the 2022? Franklin, everything. And that is not just, I'm not blowing smoke here, man. Everything is different. The ride, the power delivery, the transmission, the feel, the steering, everything about the truck. If you blindfolded me and sat me in a passenger seat, because I can't drive with a blindfold on, I wouldn't be able to tell you this is a Tundra. Does this work? That really doesn't do anything, right? The lighting in here is not as good as the last gen, but I changed mine to LEDs. These LEDs are kind of small. I mean, you could see right under you, I guess. They're just angled weird. How's this one angled? Yeah, okay. But the whole experience is different, 100%. Beer says, which is a great name, thinking of selling my 2018 and getting a 2020 TRD Pro. Well, I could tell you from experience with the 2020 TRD Pro, you'll probably be very happy with it. That's a fun vehicle, a fun truck. When it's gone, I'll miss it. When it's gone, I had service done today on that truck. They were nice enough to come and pick it up for me. Like I said, I don't want to drive it right now. But they were nice enough to come pick it up for me. And the guy that I deal with, Greg, great dude, was like, oh, truck looks great, man. Truck looks great. I'm in love with your truck. So everyone loves that 2020 TRD Pro. I'm sorry the light is getting so terrible. Let's try, can't see anything down here. Dead lighting. Okay. And now we're all caught up on the comments. And there are 59 of you here and 34 likes. I thank you guys for being here. A lot of people are working today. I appreciate you being here. I know it's a weird time. I try to do it sitting inside the truck because why not? We have it for one more night. Why not sit in here and talk about it? But no one's around to really be on the live stream like we did over the weekend. Dougie Doo says, my 2018 has lights in the center of the ceiling and the front by the rearview mirror, plenty of lights at night. Yeah, this has two little lights up here, pilot lights, and there's nothing in the middle. There's one all the way in the back over there. But that be it. Let's see. That's what it is in here with the lights on. I'm going to try to pull this off so you guys can see. Beer says, when do you think the wastegate issue will be fixed? I would think sooner than later. I'm sure Toyota is all over it because they don't want to hear anything more about it. So I would think, I don't know if it'll come out as like a service bulletin, but they're going to want to squash that thing right away. New generation, a lot of commercials, a lot of advertisement out there. They don't want negative press. So they're going to want to fix that ASAP. Let me try to pull this off here. Bear with me. I'm going to spin you around. Hold on one sec. I'm going to show you what the lighting looks like. Oh, that's my big face. Okay. So you get the two pilot lights there. All right. And you get the lights back there. So it's not the greatest when it comes to lighting, but I mean, it does the job. And then you get the big old screen here. I'll turn it back on for you so you can see everything pop on. Hold on, here we go. I know it's not focused. There we go. Now it's focused. This does not have the digital gauge cluster, as you can tell. People ask, how is the lighting? Here's the lighting. Hold on. Can't find the thing. There's the lighting outside with the fog lights on. See if we can get it a little bit better there. So it has great lighting. I mean, which we would expect, right? This is the big screen here. Put it to music. This is the big 14-inch IMAX screen that they give you, which is optional. Keep that in mind. And this is your HVAC. Pretty simple to use. You gotta get used to it compared to the old stuff. There's a lot more buttons there, but everything works. There's your stuff down there. This has that trailer assist package on it. You get the view button, which I tried to show in my last live stream. You have to be here. Let me show you the backup. Everyone has been asking about this real quick. Let me just put my foot on the brake. The backup camera is way better. Now it's saying I'm going to hit my fence because see how you can hear the beeping and everything. So there you go. Great backup camera now. I have to back it all the way to the fence to fit the 3 vehicles in. So there's my big coffee cup. I'm sorry that, there we go. Come on, there you go. I'm trying to get the thing to focus on everything for you. It's hard in the dark because it doesn't really know what to do. All the buttons and whatnot. The very comfortable seat. Heated and ventilated seats, folks. Please keep that in mind. You're going back over here now. Back up. Hi, welcome back. Get your setup. So now you can barely see me. But that's okay. We'll keep going. We'll keep going. As long as you can hear me, that's all that matters. You know, one thing I haven't been able to find in here that's on the window sticker. This says it has the headlight leveling, the little rotary dial that we used to have to level our headlights. I can't find it in here. But it's on the window sticker, so I'm guessing it's here somewhere. But it's not over in that corner like it's always been, so I have no idea where it might be. Oh well, we're going to figure that out. Figure it out. Let's see. Let's see. I'm getting pulled. Walt's here. So Walt is here who, I don't know if you guys know Walt. He does the reviews for me every once in a while. And we're going to get him on camera. And it's going to be funny. Because he's going to sit in this thing and he's going to talk about it for a minute. Hold on. This is going to be good. You're about to be on a live stream.
What are you doing?
Come on, you're on a live stream.
Get out.
Get in.
Where?
Look, you're on the live stream right now. Get in here.
Hello, everybody. How's it going?
This is Walt, who does our reviews every once in a while when we do the dealership walks.
I'm his neighbor. I live up the block.
Yep.
This is the last day you're having, last night you're having the truck?
Last night I'm having the truck.
I guess it's going back tomorrow. We're going to get a lot of reviews on this one, huh?
So you're sitting in it. What do you think? This is your first time sitting in 2022, right?
This is my first time seeing a 2022 inside, in person. Not bad. Kind of like it. I'd have to adjust the seat because I'm a lot smaller than he is, but you know how that goes. That screen is huge. Oh my God. Like, that thing's bigger than my TV in my bedroom. I'm telling you, that's like bigger than my computer screen at work. But just wanted to stop by. I saw the truck on. I'm on my way home from work, and I'll catch you guys in the live stream later. All right, everybody, peace out. Have a good night. See you later,
Thanks,
brother.
buddy. I'll stop up in a little bit when I'm done.
Okay, I'll be
Check it
there.
out. All right, cool. All right, boys. That was Walt. Walt is a huge helper with the channel. He is an owner of a 2019 Platinum, magnetic gray metallic, beautiful truck. Before that, he had an 06, so a first gen there. But when I saw him pull up there, I needed him to see the truck. He hasn't come over and seen it yet. Scheduling has been weird for everyone, but I figured that would be good. I love how everyone talks about the screen first. The screen is the biggest thing. Love it, love it, love it. Let's get a sip of this and keep on keeping on here. Yeah, so if you've seen any of my dealership walks where I talk about Walt, that is the Walt. He goes around to dealerships up north. He works in North Jersey a little bit. So he goes to, I believe he goes to Dayton Toyota, Newton Toyota. There's a few up there that he tries to walk. He does a great job for me, and I really appreciate it. Beer says, what trim of 2022 did you get? This is just a press loan. This is limited TRD off-road. Crewmax 5.5 foot bed. DJ says, how is the big screen in there? Is there a delay? No, the thing works flawlessly. No issues whatsoever. It hasn't been like negative temperatures or anything, but everything seems to work pretty good. Martin says, Mark, have you noticed if Toyota increased the remote's range? I know the second gen has the worst range of all brands. Let me tell you what, my range on my remote is awful. Absolutely awful. I have to be so close to that truck to even unlock it or lock it. Or when you're walking away, you know how you want to do that last lock just to make sure everything's going to be all right? Yeah, it's not so good. But this one seems to do the job pretty well. But I haven't been able to try it too far away, so I guess I'll have to take care of that. Already answered the trim question. Free Raven, hey, buddy. I'm fairly confident you've seen and heard enough of the 2022 V6, and now we'll be keeping your Army Green 2020 5.7 liter TRD Pro. As said earlier in the video, I haven't been driving the TRD Pro. I'm gonna make a video on jumping back in that and my impressions, and then we will know. Dougie says, I've seen a couple cars with big screens like that. I don't like them. They stick up too far and they look like an afterthought add-on to me. At first, I felt exactly what you were saying. It has grown on me. At night was what mattered the most, right? So I was worried about how would this thing be at night when I'm trying to drive at night, but it really isn't that bright and does pretty good. By the way, the lights in here, the darker it gets, they actually do a great job. But if there's any light in the sky at all, they look like they're not even on. Martin says, there's already been fixes on the wastegate. It was only a small batch that was affected during one run, and it was only the passenger turbo wastegate. There you go. Paul says, hello from Chicago. How you doing, Paul? Good to see you. Isaiah says, keeping my 2021 Platinum Tundra, but will be in the market for a second Tundra when the time is right. New gen, of course. I have been screwing around with a few builds on Toyota. There you go. Dougie Dew says, is the headlight leveling a digital option in the gauge screen? That might be the case. I'm going to have to look through that later. There's no way it's not on here. That's one of those, to me, that's like the roll down back window, like the power roll down window. It's a must have on a Tundra. It's like the Tundra thing. Peter says the premium headlights do the up and down automatically. Well, that's what we have. Rick says lower left. I don't have it lower left. It's not there. I know it's always there, but now it's not. So maybe it is automatic because I have the upgraded headlights. How about the remote start, not using the app, but the remote, good range? Did they update your demo software so it doesn't shut off when you unlock it? I didn't even try the remote start yet. I don't even know if this has remote start. I'm guessing it does. Hello, Walt, Tomeo says. Paul says, if I could afford a Tundra, this would be it. This is a nice one, man. DJ says, I ordered the limited with everything I wanted in it, and it ran me 65K. I don't think that's wrong at all. That's a lot of money. Paul says, how's your gas mileage compared to your old Tundra? Right now, when we started this live stream, it was at 15.0. It's now at 14.4 from all the idling. My current Tundra, I don't know what I'm at in my current Tundra. I think it's around 15 something. But this is a brand new truck. I want to keep saying that. Nothing's really broken in yet. Jules says, can you please describe your first driving impressions of the truck versus now? Jules coming out with the big questions. I love that question. Hold on. Okay, so when I first got in the truck, I really thought, you know, I was excited because huge Tundra fan. This is the next generation Tundra. This is what we've been waiting for. My expectations were the old generation Tundra, 14 to 21, on steroids. That's kind of what my mindset was. When I got in it, it was a completely different animal. It was a completely different truck. It didn't feel anything like the old gen. This truck is way more refined. So if you watch my video of the first impression, you'll see my face do that a bunch of times where I'm just in shock. I'm like, I don't understand what I'm in right now. This is so different. When they say ground up remodel, they weren't lying. This thing feels completely different. There are, like I say, a few Tundra characteristics in it that make me feel like I'm in a Tundra, but at the end of the day, the feel is 100% night and day different. No body roll. It's almost like a sports car feel. Bolstering in the seats, very comfortable, very quiet, which is very weird to me. But I've gotten used to it over the week, and I keep saying to myself, could I see myself in one of these long term? And the answer is yes. But I haven't been in my 2020 since, so that's going to be the big deal there. We're going to see how that is when I get back in it. But it's changed where I gave the truck a 6.2. I would probably give this truck now in the high 7s, maybe 7.8. There's things I love about it. I love all the tech. I hate the fact that I keep having to hit the auto stop start button off every time because I always forget. There's things I'd have to get used to in the truck because it's so quiet and it blows my mind. But I don't hate it. I definitely don't hate it. Please keep that in mind. Jeremy says, is there a benefit in getting the TRD off-road when you never go off-road, maybe for the overall ride? Is it worth the difference in price versus non-TRD? Okay, so they're smart with the TRD off-road packages. They always add like visual cues as well. But for me, and I guess it depends on where you live, I love the fact that the TRD off-road package always comes with an all-terrain tire. Works well in the snow in my area, right? So I like the all-terrain tire option that I'm able to get. Number two, the Bilsteins. I always like the feel of the Bilstein shock versus your non-off-road shock a little bit better. In the old generation, which I could speak to a lot more than the new one because I'm still learning this. In the old generation, the truck felt a lot more swimmy, if you will, a lot of float on the non-TRD shocks. The TRD shocks kind of stiffen that ride up a little bit, and I prefer the TRD feel versus the non-TRD feel. But that's just me. Now you get multi-terrain select, you get crawl control, you get some TRD knickknacks here and there, and the wheels look amazing now for TRD. It really depends on how you want to spend your money. Can you try the remote start regarding turning off when the doors are open? I can. Bo Hunter says, I just test drove a limited at Toyota. Newtown, New Jersey. There you go. No TRD package, but the engine was extremely shocking. Pedal response was phenomenal. We'll wait for the hybrid to test drive. This truck is very fast. This is non-hybrid. But I expected the hybrid one to be insanely fast because of how fast this one is. Keith says, are the side windows thicker, more quiet in the new one? I don't know about thicker, but more quiet for sure. I'm telling you, it's a different experience. It feels like you're in something very high-end in this. That's what I feel. It's very quiet. The engine's quiet. The cab is quiet. It's all quiet. Just quiet, quiet, quiet. Free Raven says, yeah, I sat in a 2022 Limited. It looks and sounds like a Camry with a bed. Come on, Toyota, shake my head. There is a lot of Camry feel in this, and there's a lot of that standard Toyota look in it when it comes to the interior specs, but the interior is the pro of this truck. If you're looking for one thing, if you're all about your features and you don't care about what engine it has and all that, and you need a pickup truck for weekend stuff, the interior is where it's at. This is where you're going to find all of my pros. There's some pros that aren't the, interior, but this is a beautiful place to be. We're chilling in here. We're hanging out. Yep, I like it. I like it. But yeah, there are people who don't like it and people who are happy with their 14 to 21s, and that's a good thing because those 5.7 V8s will run forever. And that's the good part of that engine. Run forever. Can't be mad at that. But yeah, I guess we got to get used to it. I can't wait to see what the 2023 brings. I know that sounds crazy, but what will we see in 2023 that's a little bit different? Or will we see something in 2023 that's different? Time will tell. It's going to be fun to check out, though. That's good to know. Thanks. Yeah, it's insanely quiet. The difference in sound is one of the most profound differences in the truck. This thing is absolutely a quiet interior now. So I'm sticking to that because that was the one thing that and the startup of the vehicle kind of threw me off at first because it's just, to me, the Tundra, like I said, it's an old school truck. It's a truck. Now they've added so many features to it. It's a truck that can do a lot of car things. You know what I mean? Haven't heard of many people getting one and not liking it compared to the old truck. No, there's a lot to like. There's a lot to like. You know, there's a lot to nitpick depending on what you like in your truck. Like I said, there will be no definitive answer on which one is better because each person is going to have a different opinion on it as far as what they like and dislike about the truck. And that's just the way it's got to be. That's not I don't want to tell you which one I like more. I'm going to tell you which one I like more. But if you like to throw your truck around and you like sway and body roll, all day long, 14 to 21. If you like the loud truck sound and feel, that loose, sloppy feel, 14 to 21. If you like a tight, very tight, refined experience where it feels like every aspect of the truck, characteristic-wise, platform, suspension, body, cab, everything, frame is all working together as one and there's just no body roll at all, this is probably where you want to be. It's such a different driving experience between the two trucks. I don't know. That's the way I'm feeling about it, but you guys got to let me know what you think about that. Other people that have driven the truck. There are some that don't even want to try to drive it because they're happy with their 14 to 21, and I salute to you. That's awesome. You should be happy. You spend all this money on trucks, right? The main screen is you say big, I say gigantic. The screen is gigantic. At first, I was like, that is an IMAX screen. That is way blown over where it needs to be, but I got used to it, and it's not bright at night. That was my big thing. It's a nice watch. Hold on, I'll show you right now. So, see how it's not shining? It's not bright. It doesn't do anything to my face. The only light that's coming in the truck are the I'll even shut the headlights off to show you. Now the headlights are off and the screen came on a little bit brighter, and it's still not annoying to drive. So we shall see. 15 MPG doesn't seem very good. What were you getting driving same route with your 2020? I get around the 14s and 15s, 13, 14, 15, depending on how I drive the truck. Please keep in mind, I want to say this again, this is a brand new truck. When it breaks in, the MPG will most likely go up. Because when it's new, the MPG is terrible. I was getting like 10 MPG, 11 MPG-ish in my Trd Pro when it was brand new, until it broke in a little. Taryn, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. So now it is completely dark in here. We're going to call it a live stream, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go in there and eat dinner with the wife, say hello to her. She's right in that window right now doing schoolwork. But I thank you guys for being here. It was fun. I'll tell you what, we'll stay on 10 more minutes. Let's stay on 10 more minutes. Because I want to finish this coffee. So let's finish it out with this. Where are you guys coming from tonight? Where are you in the world? Let's see. Jules says, do you plan on test driving the Trd Pro before you make a decision? 1,000,000%. Before this week with the 2022, no, I would have just bought it and that would have been it. Now, 100% yes, I'm test driving. Because I want to make sure before I spend all that money. That's a lot of money. Isaiah says, all the Tundra people in here makes me feel like going outside and hearing the TRD dual exhaust for no reason. There you go. There you go. Tomato says, Eastern North Carolina. Franklin's in North Carolina. A beautiful state. Perfect amount of weather. 3 seasons, I always say. Jeremy is in Moorcroft, Wyoming. Justin is in Idaho Falls, Idaho. Very nice. Terrence says, just saw what I think was a Platinum on the road when I left work. It was beautiful, but it sat so weird. The front end was higher than the rear. With all that chrome, it made it look too heavy. Well, the Platinum doesn't have a lot of chrome, so I don't know if you saw a Platinum there, buddy. Million says, I'm on I-80 westbound in Utah, headed toward the Nevada border. My student is driving. All right, how you doing, Million? Good to see you, buddy. Mr. Michael Holmes says, hi, buddy. Michael, best Toyota salesman in the world right there. Michael Nelson says, what's up from Colorado? 3 months later, I might get one in a few days. Here we go, bud. I can't wait. I hope for you. Nando's in North Texas. Patrick is test drove the Limited last weekend. Loved it. There you go. Let's see. Grey Ghost Tundra says, Bay Area, California. Link your channel if you want, Grey Ghost. Sergio says, New York. There we go. Local boy. I like it. Tony says, Windsor, Virginia. Terrence says, Then it was a capstone. It had to be, if it was a capstone, it was a press vehicle capstone. Million says, I missed you, sorry I'm late. Never have to be sorry, buddy. Never have to be sorry. Ever, ever, ever. Do you use the hold park button? What I do is it's the automatic parking brake. So when I put it in park, boom, emergency brake comes on automatically. And that is very Camry, automatic parking brake. Gary says, Chambersburg, PA. Oh, wow, that's cool. Small world. Million says, I want to get the new Venza Limited. That SUV is so clean. Yes, it is a beautiful one. Yeah, I know you meant button, not bottom. Bo Hunter said, Sussex County, New Jersey. Ocean County, New Jersey here, buddy. Another local. I like it. As we just sit here in the very quiet. Now, if this was my TRD Pro, I would never let it just sit here and idle and run like this, because it would piss off all the neighbors because the exhaust is too loud, even at low rumble. But here, this truck's quiet. We could sit in here all night like this. No one cares. Is the rumbler fit well? What does that mean? Another thing I want to bring up that I made a post on, but I couldn't put it on my YouTube. I had to put it on all my socials. The Jbl Sound System in here is 100% better than last generation. Finally, they found a way. Giant subwoofer behind the back seat. The thing bumps very nicely. So please know that. Oh, the rump. Yes, it does fit well. There's actually little teeth to grab the cup in here to stop it from moving around. It's not like the old generation where it's just the regular cup holder. There's actually adjustable teeth in there that hold the cup. So yes, I'm sorry about that. Rumbler, that's a good word. The coffee mug. Terrence says, dude, it was beautiful, but it was low in the back, high in the front. That's weird. I wonder what you were looking at. A lot of chrome, 1794 could be, limited, non-TRD could be. There are a lot of options out there. So, can't be too mad about that, right? All right, so let's call it an evening. I thank you guys for being here. I want to end with this. Please keep in your thoughts and prayers all of the men and women of the emergency services and military, especially with everything going on in the world. Keep them. Without them, we don't have this beautiful country. So we got to give love to all those folks out there. They're our heroes, and this channel 100% supports emergency services and the military in the United States and Canada. So I hope everyone has a great night. What would I buy today? Right now, I'm keeping the Pro right now, but that may change. I got to get back in the Pro. John says, will the new TRD have the option of the 2 engines, and which one would you go with in the TRD? TRD Pro only has the hybrid engine, and that would be the one I would go with anyway. JR says, got a 2017, getting the 2022, hope it's worth the extra money. Me too, make sure you test drive. It was fully chrome in the front, and a long chrome badge from front door to back door. So that, fully chrome in the front, and that could be 1794. Or capstone, truthfully. So take pictures. Pray for all of our military forces. These are trying times. Yes, everyone keep your head up there. Thank you guys for watching the channel. I'll be back with you. Say goodbye. This is it. This was our last show. This thing goes back tomorrow morning. It was a fun ride. We will do a couple more videos on it, and then we'll get back in the 2020 and keep on keeping on. But I thank you guys for being here. Be safe. Be well. Have a great evening. I love you all.